It's an interesting time for business. Tariff and trade policies are dynamic, supply chains are squeezed, and cash flow, it's tighter than ever. If your business can't adapt in real time, you are in a little bit of hurt. So how do you get full visibility and adapt in real time? Over 42,000 businesses trust NetSuite by Oracle, your AI-powered business management suite. It brings accounting, financial management, inventory, and HR all under one roof. NetSuite is the #1 cloud ERP for a reason. It's your single source of truth, giving you the data and control you need to move quickly. Real-time forecasting helps you move into the future with confidence, and with AI built in, you can automate the busy work and focus on strategy. NetSuite helps you see what's stuck, what it's costing you, and how to pivot fast. If I were running a business with a lot of moving parts, I'd use NetSuite for full control over everything. Tame the chaos with NetSuite. If your revenues are at least in the 7 figures, download the free ebook, Navigating Global Trade, 3 Insights for Leaders at netsuite.com/SPI. That's netsuite.com/SPI. Hey, I get it. You've worked really hard to build up your business, and it's doing great. So great that you need help now. The most important thing for your business is to hire the right people to support it. So how can you find amazing candidates quickly? Easy. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps you stand out and hire fast. And with Sponsored Jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. And it makes a huge difference. According to Indeed data, Sponsored Jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. And it's one of the largest databases of job seekers, too, giving business owners access to a wide range of candidates. And one of the things I love most about Indeed is the job alerts feature. I get notified when new candidates apply. There's no need to wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/smartpassive. Just go to Indeed.com/smartpassive right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/smartpassive. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring Indeed is all you need. The perfect product launch. It's the goal for every brand marketer. High heat, fast sellout, and fans posting recipes like trophies. What do Sydney Sweeney's soap drop, Taylor Swift's tickets, and your next launch have in common? Well, they're not bought, they're bragged about. Fanfare turns your drop into a moment. Fanfare cues real fans, blocks bots, and builds launch experiences worth screenshotting. Want hype without the heartbreak? Get Fanfare's 5-step hype drop playbook with our proven success formula and make your next launch unforgettable at fanfare.io/playbook. Again, fanfare.io/playbook. This is the Smart Passive Income Podcast with Pat Flynn, session number 101. Let's make some magic happen.
Welcome to the Smart Passive Income Podcast, where it's all about working hard now so you can sit back and reap the benefits later. And now your host, the one with the funny American accent, Pat Flynn.
Still using a copy-paste website? Break the template trap with Framer. Whether you're overwhelmed by traditional site builders or frustrated with cookie-cutter designs, Framer gives you the freedom to create a site that's professional, polished, and uniquely yours. Framer is the design-first, no-code website builder that lets anyone ship a production-ready site in minutes. It's free to start, allowing you to browse hundreds of pixel-perfect templates or even design something on your own on a totally blank canvas. Add bold animations like appear effects, text effects, parallax scrolling, scroll animations, looping animations, and much more in seconds. The built-in AI handles the heavy lifting, generating starter layouts, and can even translate your entire site to any language. Ready to build a site that looks hand-coded without hiring a developer? Launch your site for free at framer.com and use code SPI to get your first month of Pro on the house. That's framer.com, promo code SPI. Framer.com, promo code SPI. Rules and restrictions may apply. With running your own business, legal questions always come with the territory. Like, can I use this contract or agreement? What do I do if a client doesn't pay? Am I even structured the right way for taxes? Instead of Googling your way through legal landmines, imagine having a law firm ready to address your business's legal needs without the sticker shock. That's what you get with Legal Shield's small business plans. Legal Shield helps entrepreneurs access real legal help on contract reviews, collection letters, business formation guidance, and even help navigating IRS audits. Members can schedule consultations, upload documents through the app, and get support from a provider law firm that knows small business laws in your state. Plus, consultations on taxes or trademarks help you stay ahead of potential problems. And if a client is late on a payment, Legal Shield steps in with professional collection letters so you can protect your hard-earned revenue, all for a fraction of the price of hiring a lawyer on your own. Go to LegalShield.com/SPI or call 833-570-9980 to learn more and get big business legal support without a big business budget. That's LegalShield.com/SPI. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Pat Flynn. Welcome to session 101 of the Smart Passive Income Podcast. I'm so happy you're here. We're diving straight into the next 100 episodes of the podcast, and I appreciate your support so much. And I got a great episode for you today because not only are we bringing a featured guest on, but this featured guest is actually, I can call him a student of mine. This is somebody I've been working with for the last 6 months. The kind of background behind this is when I started Niche Site Duel 2.0. This is the second round of me building a website from scratch publicly on smartpassiveincome.com. I did it successfully the first time around. This was back in 2010 in the security guard training niche. And that site at securityguardtraininghq.com has been up for a few years now, and it's consistently earning between $1,500 and $3,000 a month. Mostly passively. I just spend a couple hours a month maintaining that site. But that was done in 2010, and the website creation and business development process has changed since then, and mostly Google has changed since then. It seems like they're changing every month, it seems. So a lot of people were asking, well, how would you go about doing the same experiment today? And that's where Niche Site Duel 2.0 came from. And you can get information about all the posts I've written about that process for the site that I'm building now, which is serving the food truck business owner and the future food truck business owner. You can check all that information out at nichesiteduel.com. So check that out. But one thing I wanted to do the second time around, when all this started, I wanted to get a group of 4 to 6 people together and work with them to help them build up their brands, build up their businesses, their website, their traffic. And it's not like I'm doing it for them, right? I wanted to bring these students on so I could guide them, so that I can show them and be there as a resource so they can do it themselves, which is the whole point of Niche Site Duel. I'll show how I do it. I talk about the ups and downs, the wins, the losses, the mistakes and the failures, and the good things that I did, so that other people can emulate and try those things out for themselves too. And so that's what we're doing in this sort of Niche Site Duel mastermind group. And there's one student in particular that I wanted to highlight and bring on the show today, and this is a person named Ken Kelly. And what's cool about him, there's so many cool things about him, but he's an incredible action taker. He is already seeing success and revenue from the site that he's created. And he's a magician, which is so cool. I've always been infatuated with the idea of magic. And for those of you who were at New Media Expo this past January at my presentation, or maybe you heard about it, I included magic in that presentation. And guess who was my coach? Ken Kelly. Ken had heard through my talking about this upcoming presentation in the group. We meet, on average once a month, sometimes more, sometimes less. But they had heard that I was doing this presentation, and I sort of joked that I wanted to include something interesting or surprising at the end to just sort of make it memorable. I always try to do something different and push the envelope in my presentations. And Ken had suggested, or just sort of, randomly said, hey, why don't you do magic? And I was like, that would be cool, but what would I do? And then he actually chatted with me for longer after that meeting was over on Skype and gave me some great ideas on how I could incorporate magic into the message that I wanted to share in this presentation. And then I was like, yeah, let's do it. And Ken was like, yeah, let's make this a regular meeting. I'll teach you these tricks and I'll show you and I'll help you with your stage presence and all that stuff. And for those of you who were there at New Media Expo, you saw it. You saw the outcome of Ken teaching me, and he did that because I was teaching him with this website stuff and building up his niche site. And so I'm so pleased to have him on here today. That's sort of the background behind how all this got started. And he's a magician. His niche site is in the magic industry, but it's done so much for him. Not just monetarily. It's only beginning to start. It's only starting to make money, but it's done so much more for him as far as opportunity and a lot of other things as well. So you're going to hear his whole story. Ken provides a lot of great information and really detailed, strategic tips and things like that, things that he's done that has worked for him that could also work for you too. So let's just dive right in. Sorry, I'm just so excited to have Ken on. He's such an awesome guy. Obviously, a great accent you'll hear. He's over in the UK, and yeah, I'm going to stop talking so we can get right into this interview. So here's an interview with Ken Kelly. He's going to share his exact URL and the sort of niche within the magic niche that he's targeting. So here we go. Enjoy. Ken Kelly, what is up? Thank you so much for coming on the Smart Passive Income Podcast. How are you?
I am so good, and I'm so happy to be here. I really am.
Well, it's about time you're on the show because you're doing a lot of amazing things. And of course, you and I have talked quite often over the last several months. You are in sort of a mastermind group with myself and a few others who are also doing the niche site duel. And beyond that, and I want everybody to know this, that my recent presentation at New Media Expo in January, I included some magic in the presentation. And a lot of people were like, "How did you know magic before this? Where did you learn this? Did you just watch YouTube videos and figure it out?" And no, I didn't hire a coach, but I had a coach, and Ken was my coach. He offered to sort of teach me a few tricks that would be relevant to the content that I was sharing in that presentation. And he did such an amazing job as a teacher, and I just got so excited. And then I did the presentation. I did the magic. People loved it. And so, Ken, I just want to thank you here on the show publicly, just for all the help you've given me, and I want to give that part of the presentation credit it to you, because you actually inspired that whole ending, which has become a very memorable part of the presentation, something people are still talking about, and I'm still sort of high about getting to do that in front of everybody. I never would have thought I would have done magic, so thank you for that.
Well, thank you very much, Pat, for those very kind words. And I just love magic. I eat, sleep, and breathe it. And it's really cool to know that it's contagious, and that you caught a little bit of that bug and you took it into your presentation, and that was received positively. And hey, magic at the end of the day, it brings the kid out in our heart. It brings that wonderment out. If you were able to share that with your audience, and it makes a memorable impact, because magic is not something we see every day. It's that kind of thing that hits our brain and changes the way we think. It questions all that we know, because it just doesn't fit in there. And yeah, it makes people sit up and take notice, I guess. But I'm just so glad you got something out of that.
And I had to tell you a quick story. One of the people that I picked out of the crowd to do a magic trick on, he actually did magic for a long part of his life. and he came up to me after the show, and he was talking about how he used to do magic and just kind of lost interest. And then I got an email from him a couple weeks later just saying that this presentation re-sparked his interest in magic, and now he's doing it again, and he's learning more tricks, and he's just gotten even more excited. So that's again because of you. So it's just kind of paying it forward and touching lives, and of course he's going to do magic and help other people and entertain others. It's just so cool how this works.
Just hearing you share that with me, Pat, it just makes my heart smile. It really does. Part of the passion that I have for magic is to carry that torch forward and to share it with other people, and to share that magic, yes, it is it's about secrets, and it's about guarding those secrets, but not from people who genuinely want to learn magic and get out and perform it. And if you re-sparked and rekindled that in somebody else, how wonderful that is.
That's awesome. Yeah, now I went to Disneyland with my family the other day, and there's a magic store in Disneyland. And I was sitting there for like a half hour watching this guy do all this magic, and I was like, I want to buy every single trick here because this is awesome. But I didn't. But I just let the magic sort of just mesmerize me, and I was just so happy to be there. But anyway, a lot of people have been asking, well, Pat, when is this full version of your New Media Expo presentation coming out? We've seen the highlight reel. And if you go to smartpassiveincome.com/highlight, that'll take you to the highlight reel. I was actually asked to potentially do this presentation again. Like, it was that good. People were talking about it, and I got asked to do this presentation again. And I feel like for this conference that I might do this for, it would only be right if I didn't share the full-length video until after that conference. So I apologize for those of you who are waiting. You're going to have to wait a little bit longer, but I want the full effect for those who will be there live when I present this again before I share it. So I hope you guys all understand that. I mean, does that make sense, Ken? Like,
It definitely makes sense. You want to be keeping that element of surprise, and I guess you will be sharing it when the time comes right, and it gives us all something to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get into your story, Ken. You have an amazing history and sort of where life is taking you now and what you're doing now. And of course, I want to get into the things that you're doing now and the things that are successful for you. But where did you start? What were you doing before all the stuff that you're doing online now?
Wow, it's been quite a road, if I'm honest with you. And I guess my road started when I was very young. I was 6 years old. I got a magic set. It was brought to me by my father, and as an only child, I found that I got something out of this. It got me kind of attention from other people. I guess I was quite a skinny child when I was growing up, and we immigrated to South Africa from the United Kingdom when I was 6 years old. So my family wasn't around me. And because of the work my father did, he moved around a lot. So by the time I went into high school, I'd been in 6 different schools. That's a lot of going into the class for the first time and meeting everyone and then kind of making some friends and being whipped away to another school. So I guess I was quite awkward in making friends. It became difficult for me. But when I found magic and I started showing that to people, something lit up in me, something that to this day really, really feels special. And it was a way of giving something to other people. And wherever you go with magic tricks in your pocket, you have friends. So I chose to do it as a career. I guess against the advice of my parents, when I was saying I want to be a full-time magician, they were saying fine when I was a young boy. But when I started getting to last year's high school, they were saying, hey, Ken, you're seriously going to be thinking about a career with some future in it. But it was really what I wanted to do. And I left school and I tried going and working in a store and getting into retail, and it didn't work out for me. I hated every minute of it. And going to the store that I was working in, I was doing a management a training course there. I would walk past the buskers in the street every day, Pat, and I'd look at them and I'd envy these guys that got to travel around and just perform and entertain people for a living. So one day I plucked up the courage, walked into my manager. I had my uniform on a hanger. I handed him the uniform and I said, hey, I'm off to the street. And I went and stood on the street, and it was the first money that I'd made from doing magic. It wasn't easy. And I guess by doing that, I could see why my parents were saying, get yourself a proper job or a proper career, because it's a hard taskmaster. But from there, I came back to South Africa. I won the junior championships of magic. My passion was that strong. I went on and won to the senior championships of magic.
That's cool.
I was very fortunate to represent South Africa at FISM, which is kind of the Olympics of magic, I guess you could call it. Very apt at the moment. We've got the Winter Olympics going on, and we represented South Africa there. And when I came back, lots of publicity, and I managed to get myself a television show, which ran for some years, entertaining children with magic and kind of doing some script writing. And from there, it just branched off and grew and grew and grew. And it has been the greatest career ever. There's been low times, there've been difficult times, but overall, it's just been absolutely amazing. And taking it online is just the next step in that, I guess.
So you were performing magic for groups of people and just going around where you were being hired, you were on television, and you were just performing. So you had to be there in order to, earn an income.
Exactly. The downside of that business model is I am the product. So I can only be in one place at one time. I can only do one 9 o'clock show on a Saturday evening for a wedding. Mm-hmm. I can't be in 2 places. So it was quite limiting. But I guess the fees charged are okay. I mean, they make up for that, but it's still quite a limiting business model.
Right. And then when was your first sort of encounter with the possibility of going online, and what was sort of going through your head when you saw that you could potentially do magic online? And did you think it was something that was possible, or you wanted to stay away from it at first? Or what were your thoughts about taking what you were doing, sort of performing, and then somehow bringing it online?
It was a slow and gradual process, and it started with a frustration. I left South Africa to come back to the United Kingdom. We had a family tragedy. We lost our son. It was a really, really sad time, and everything we'd built around us just kind of didn't mean anything anymore for myself, my wife, and my daughter, Kristen. And we looked around and thought, what next now? What next? Life was at an all-time low. I had been born in the UK, as I've said, so I had the passport, and maybe in a way I was running away. But we decided to come to the UK and have a fresh start, new scenery, new people around us, maybe to kind of, spur something new and deaden the pain slightly. I left a really good career as a magician in South Africa, where I was known in the market. I had a good name. I was known by all the agents. The phone didn't stop ringing. And I brought my act to the UK. And I was now in a country where nobody knew me. And my years on television made absolutely no difference to anybody. Mm-hmm. So I did what any good entertainer would do. And I contacted all the booking agents. I contacted the booking agents, and out of 40 booking agents, which I contact and hand wrote letters to, I had one reply.
Wow.
I was absolutely devastated. I didn't know what I was going to do. I had limited amounts of funds that we'd brought over. I had come first. My family was still in South Africa, and my job was to kind of get us a base, find us a home, and bring my family over. And I ended up walking the streets of the town, the hometown that I now live in, Warrington, day after day, wearing a suit, going from store to store to store, knocking on stores, saying, hey, look, I'll do anything. I'll sweep your floor. I'll pack your shelves, because I just couldn't get any work as a magician. The one reply that I got from the agencies pretty much said, yeah, okay, we'll pop you on our books. And when I phoned the others to see why I wasn't getting a response, they were saying, well, we have entertainers that we've worked with for so many years that do a great job. Why do we need another magician? We got one. So that was the situation I was in. So I kind of went knocking on the doors, and I eventually picked up some work, and again, soul destroying. I felt like I'd been sent to prison, Pat, because all that freedom of the entertainer was ripped away from me. And I thought, how can I get back into this? And I went on the internet and I went onto the Google search engine and started having a look around, and I saw that people had websites, and that people weren't really advertising in the yellow pages anymore to get gigs. It was kind of reaching out electronically and online. So I set about learning how to build a website. And I did it step by step using YouTube videos and just scrounging around the internet, getting anything I could. And I put together a really simple website and started getting some work trickling in. And it took a couple of years. It took a couple of years to get the knowledge and the know-how. And my marketing got better and better and better. I listened to people like yourself, Pat, and just took on the really good information that is out there, and grew the business to a point where I was able to leave the chains. I was able to break the chains of the day-to-day job that I was not enjoying, and go full-time back into the magic. So I guess that was the first steps into online. All of the business was generated online, and it was about getting the right kind of traffic to the site, and then converting that traffic. And I learned so much about it, and I still am. I tweak my site all the time, and I measure the conversions, and I measure what happens on that. And I now have more work than I can possibly handle. And I'm very grateful for that. But listening to yourself, Pat, and looking around, I saw that having to be there and deliver the magic in one place at one time, I saw the limitations of that, and a whole new world was opened of this online marketing, where you can have products, where you can engage with people all over the world, and you can engage with multiple people at the same time. And this really kind of ticked a box for me, and it was something I really wanted. So I started exploring how I could get magic and kind of spread that out and get something to share with the world, as opposed to share with the audience that was in front of me. And it was step by step looking at how that may happen. And then Niche Site Jewel 2 came up. And I guess that for me was a catalyst.
Yeah, Niche Site Duel 2.0. We'll talk about that in a second, but let's go back to this first website you created, this first one that you did online. This was a website that you said you were getting traffic for and converting that traffic into what? Was this for live performances still?
What it is, when you're looking as an entertainer, so first of all, the traffic that I need to target with a website is very, very local traffic. I purposely target traffic. I can't even speak that. Target traffic within a 25-mile radius of my home. We work in miles here. I don't know what it is in the States. It's miles here. 25-mile radius, yeah. Which is not a huge area. So, but I need local traffic because I'm 200 miles from London. So if I get an inquiry in London, that's a long way to go, which makes me price prohibitive because I've got to charge travel. I can only do the 1 gig on that day. So I've pretty much got to double or triple my fees. So it's about concentrated traffic. So that was interesting because a lot of the information out there is how to target mass traffic. And the more traffic you can get to your site, the better. Well, for me, it's not the case. The more qualified traffic I can get to my site, the better. So it's about local businesses. It's about local companies that I can feed work through. It's about local search engine optimization. And all I'm looking for is for them to fill out my inquiry form. All over my site, there are calls to action to, hey, get a quote. Hey, check if your date is still available. Check what kind of packages we can offer for you. And all those calls to action lead through to a form. That form is linked to Aweber. And when they fill out that form, it gives me all of their information that I need to give them a quote. But it also puts them on my autoresponder, which starts sending them out information that is really relevant to them at this time. I'm speaking now specifically about my children's entertainment business because the market is absolutely huge. It's massive. So somebody's looking for a party for their 5-year-old son. He's about to have his party. They may see my site. They'll fill in a form to inquire. And then the next day, they'll get some really cool party tips. It's Timeous. The day after that, they'll get a party checklist. So, and I've found that has just skyrocketed my conversions as opposed to just sending a quote out. Yes, send out a quote, but they also get some really useful information. And again, that, to be honest with you, Pat, I picked it up from you. Give good quality content that is relevant to the audience, and they will come back to you. Only yesterday, I had autoresponder number 5, which is day 5, because the party is usually pretty close to when they look to book it. So we send out the information pretty quickly. A client saying, you know, you guys have just been so helpful. I want to place my business with you because you understand what we're doing. We're putting a party together and you've been so helpful in the information you've given us. Everyone else just sent us a quote. So that kind of helps us stand out, and we get the form in, send out our quote, and we have a conversion rate from there as well.
That's huge. So you're converting more people after you give the quote. It's down the line when they're getting this content from you.
Definitely. And then the autoresponder kicks in around 300 and odd days after they made their initial inquiry saying, hey, you contacted us last year for the 5th birthday party. You got a party coming up. How can we help you this year?
That is so sweet. That is really cool. And for everybody listening, I want you to understand this. You know, even though there are parts of your business where somebody has to be there, where maybe it's you providing a service, there are still ways to use what is available to automate it. And obviously, Ken's doing a great job of doing that, not only getting traffic to a site. And I want to ask a question about the tools you're using as far as targeting your target audience. But once they get to a site and they fill in an inquiry, I mean, he's having Aweber and the autoresponder do the marketing for him. And I'm sure you've tested the copy in each of those emails, and you've got it down to almost a science as far as exactly how many days they should be and when they should get what message. I mean, that's awesome. That's so cool, Ken. So I think that's a lesson for everybody. It doesn't matter if you have a information business or you're still providing a service. There are ways to automate parts of your business, and you should absolutely be doing that so you can do more of what you need to be doing, so you can perform more, so you can provide more value to your customers that you can only do yourself while other parts of your business are working for you.
Sure.
So
definitely.
As far as, you know, the local SEO and targeting, are you using like Google AdWords? Are you using Facebook? How are you getting this target market to come to your site?
We do have a Facebook page, which is great, and we post interesting information from all the parties we go to. So if there's an interesting cake, we'll pop that on there, and that gives us a bit of traffic. Local Google AdWords, absolutely first class. Cannot fault it. Again, it's about knowing your audience. It's about tweaking your copy, as you said there. I'm pretty obsessive compulsive, I guess is the word, with my copy. I change it all the time, and I'll change a word here and a headline there just to see what kind of difference it makes. And I think of it like the evolution of man. And of course, woman. You've got your evolution, got to be politically correct.
Absolutely.
Your evolution as you're going through. Evolution is it built in such a way that it split tests us. It gives us little changes as we go along, and that doesn't work dies. That does work just becomes super, super successful. And I'm a great believer in just change it and try it, change it and try it, change it and try it. And years and years later now, I'm still tweaking my copy all the time because it's never going to be perfect. And the audience will teach me what they want to see. Mm-hmm. So Google AdWords is about 50% of my business. And the other 50% is organic search. But it's organic search, understanding the areas that I want to work in, targeting those areas with the keywords. So if I'm looking at a children's entertainer, it might be children's entertainer Knutsford. And those areas are it's like, I guess, ninja laser targeted marketing, because I only pick the areas that we want to work in. And the product that we offer will only appeal to people within a certain income bracket. If you're struggling to get by and pay your bills, it's unlikely that you're going to have $300-400 to have a children's entertainer come to a party. So it's about targeting the right audience as well. If I do get booked for a wrong audience, somebody who's really struggling to afford this, all the guests at that party, which I can potentially market to, are the wrong audience as well. If I get the right audience, everybody at that party is the right audience as well. So it is my business to not just get business, but to get good business. So part of our strategy is to say no occasionally as well. Because for me to give my best and to perform my best, I need to be working for my target market. So it's targeted down to areas that are maybe a little more affluent. There's overflow on that as well. Loads of work from word of mouth, because I get to stand in front of 35 children with their mums, and sometimes the dads are there as well. And I get to do my magic show, and I get to entertain the children, and they get to laugh, and they get to just enjoy it. And there's no better marketing than that. Maybe that's offline marketing, but it still drives them through to the website. I give out a coloring in picture to the kids at the end. It's got the web address on, and that brings them in as well.
Oh, so I was going to say, is there anything you do to sort of make sure people understand who you are when the party's over? So that's cool. That's really cool. I think we could even end the show right there, and that'd be a ton of value for people. We could, but obviously we mentioned Niche Site Duel 2.0, and so let's pick up where we left off from there. I had mentioned, a while back, almost a year back now, that I was going to start another Niche Site Duel. I had I had done Niche Site Duel 1.0 from 2010, where I created SecurityGuardTrainingHQ.com. That did really well, got to number one in Google, is continually, even today, still making between $1,000 and $3,000 a month. But times have changed since then, and Google has changed a lot, many times. And so a lot of people were like, Pat, you got to do another Niche Site Duel. Let's put it to the test and see what works, see what doesn't again. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. So then I thought it would be a good idea to not only have to do this, on my own, but to have other people in my audience come and join me. And, of course, that's what Niche Site Duel is about. And we all kind of, as a community, do this together and learn from each other. And you can go to nichesiteduel.com to join sort of a forum there where a lot of people are doing this too. But I thought it'd be even cooler to get maybe 5 or 6 individuals to come in that we can meet on a regular schedule. We could help each other out, hold each other accountable, and keep each other focused. And so I had this whole application process, and I had no idea what kind of response I was going to get as far as the interest in this. And I had to read over, gosh, I can't remember, but it was over 1,000, I think, applications. And I had people fill in 5 different questions, or 5 to 8 different questions, I think. I can't even remember, but it was so long. I had spent a whole week, 4 or 5 hours a day reading the applications because I wanted to be fair to everyone. And I ended up picking 5 or 6 people, or 6 people. Ken, you were one of those people because of just the answers that you shared, and I could tell the passion that you had for the topic that you wanted to do. And also, I could tell you did your research on it. And so, you joined the group. I mean, what were you expecting, or what were your thoughts when you got selected into this sort of mastermind group, I guess you could say, for Niche Site Duel 2.0?
When I applied, when I sat down and wrote what I wrote through to you, that you read, that you kind of during your selection process, I remember as I was reading that thinking, this is potentially one of those game changers. There's certain things that I've done within my life that have been game changers, that have changed the direction that I've gone in. And I saw this as one of those. And I thought, you got to try this. And I sent it in. When I heard, I was just over the moon. I just knew something really special was going to come from this, because I bring my passion, I bring my drive, I bring consistency and focus, which are my main tools that I have in my toolbox that I've learned through the years. With consistency, with focus, you can accomplish anything you really set your heart to. But it is hard work. I think sometimes there is a misconception that the online marketing world is a glamorous world with shiny lights and it's really easy to do. But at the end of the day, it's about hard work. It's about putting in the hours, and it's about that focus and that consistency. But I knew I had that to bring. So I was really excited, because I know you hold so many contacts. I know you hold so much information that you've kind of soaked up during your journey, and you share that within our mastermind group, and soaking that up and putting that into action has been amazing. It has shook my world in more ways than just the Niche Site Duel 2.0 site that I have up. It has had ramifications just beyond my wildest dreams, is what I can say.
Ken, now my heart is smiling. This is awesome. So let's talk about what happened. You joined in, and tell everybody what your niche was.
Okay. It stems back to when I was a kid. I remember, this is before the days of the internet, if you can imagine there were such days. I was maybe a boy of 10 and 11, and I really wanted to learn magic. The only place I could get any information was from books I got from my library. It was so limiting. I savored those books. It was like eating really expensive chocolates. I would save them and just read a page a day so that I wouldn't work through it so quickly, because I knew that the books would run out. No internet, and I struggled to learn. I found it frustrating. When I went and bought magic sets, they were just full of plastic rubbish, to be honest with you. It wasn't proper magic, wasn't what I was looking for. So I wanted to build a site that would help me when I was 10. It was a site that would show me how to learn magic, but differentiate from the kind of YouTube videos that all they do is show you a magic trick and then expose it, because that for me does not feel ethical. I wanted to build a site that showed a magic trick and then actually took you through step by step, showing you how that is done, but taught you the important factors behind that, the ethics behind that, how to perform it. Because at the end of the day, a magician is an actor playing the part of a magician, and your performance will be successful based on how you perform it, not from the magic or the trick that you do, as is evidenced by the presentation you did, Pat. You got great reactions from that because of your performance, not because of a magic trick. So the site was about sharing that information, really good quality information for young people from maybe the age of 6 up to, well, we have, to be honest with you now, lots of grown-ups that say, I'm 45 and I get lots from this site as well. So, but the magic on there is really, really super cool. So that was the niche that I was looking at. And when I did the research, I found that the search term magic tricks for kids was huge. And when I had a look at what the competition was and what was being served for those keywords, it was a load of really AdSense-heavy, spammy sites with the bare minimum that they would have to get through to get their site ranked, which made my heart sink and sad, because that is not servicing, excuse me, Pat, that's not servicing that audience. I wanted to service that audience. So that was the idea, that those are the keywords.
Right. So, I saw that in your application. I was like, That's cool. I can connect with that because when I was a kid, I wanted to do magic too. So then we started discussing this. We got into a nice little Google Hangout, and we started talking about sort of our first steps. And do you remember what some of the first steps I had for you after sort of that initial conversation? This was before that site was launched. You just had the idea that you wanted to serve this niche. Do you remember some of the first steps that you took from that point forward?
I do. The thing that was so valuable for me, and again, another game changer, not something I would have thought of myself, was the 200 outreach list, contacting 200 websites that would complement that I was about to launch, 200 Facebook pages that would complement Magic Tricks for Kids, and writing them an email saying, hey, this is what we're doing, and seeing if there was some synergy there. And when you shared the 200 outreach concept, I was a little skeptical, to be honest, thinking, well, who's really going to be interested in this? You're going to be bothering busy people. And I know my inbox is absolutely full of people wanting stuff from me on a daily basis. But I put together a little bit of copy and did the research, and sent it out. I found doing the research really, really valuable because I started to see other places where children and parents were engaging. Now, the kind of sites that I was targeting, and this came again from the mastermind group and from sharing it with yourself and the other members of that, is that I should be targeting a parent and child type sites, craft sites, art sites, what you can do with your children type sites, because that's where you got parents and children together. Because one of the, I guess, weaknesses that I saw with this niche is that I need to get to the parents to be able to get the kids in, because children may not have their own accounts, they may not have their own YouTube accounts. It was about targeting the parents to get that through to the kids. So, and researching those, found so many and so many interesting sites there, sent it out, and had an amazing response from that. People were really open to it. There were many that didn't respond, but lots that did.
Right. I mean, I did the same thing for foodtrucker.com. And for those of you listening, if you go back to SPI podcast session 67, smartpassiveincome.com/session 67, that's an interview with Neil Patel, who is where I got this, idea for this outreach program for. You go out and find 200 related websites that you could potentially work with, or who could potentially link to your site, or who could potentially you can collaborate with over time. 200 Twitter accounts, 200 Facebook pages, and you create this spreadsheet. And I found that myself when I did this research, and a lot of other people in the group said this too, that it's just so eye-opening to see who else is out there, that it just kind of expands your just initial thinking into something much bigger, and also shows you what's missing out there. You're able to see, okay, well, what else is out? What could I provide that all these other people are not? And that's something that was big for me. But going back to Neil Patel, I mean that was huge and eye opening for me too. But then what did you say to people? Okay, so people are listening to this interview right now. Okay, you make this list. So then what do you do with this list? You just send a random email and say, hey, I'm thinking of creating this website. Or what are you supposed to, what sort of, how did you leverage that list that you created?
Well, firstly, it's about speaking to them and being interested in what they have, and being genuinely interested in what they have, their site. So I took the time to look around their site so that I could speak about their site and what I liked about their site. And I guess that's a great way to start anything, because I'm speaking about them and their site, and they're obviously very passionate about that. I then mentioned that I was launching magictricksforkids.org, and that I would really value their help. And I guess when I was a young boy, I read a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. It's a phenomenal book, and I highly recommend everyone should read it. It's just
Absolutely.
got such wisdom in it. And in that book, one of the things it says is, if you want someone to kind of like you, ask them to do you a favor. And it sounds kind of counterintuitive, how can people like you? But because what it does is it kind of says, you have done this, you've got all this, I'm about to start this. I wonder, would you be able to help me? Could you please help me? And I asked, I directly said, you've done this, you've forgotten the stuff I've still got to learn here. And I would so much value if you would give a little bit of your time, if you can, to help me out here. And they were so giving with that. And it's just interesting in looking back on it now. I got over 35 blog opportunities from the 200 list. That's a good closing ratio for 200 emails sent out.
Huge.
So 35 hits. That's not the negotiations. That's the actual closes on that.
Mm-hmm.
So that proved to be pretty successful. I kept the sales copy really short. So speak about them. I outlined what I was doing and then really asked them if they would be able to help me. And those 34, those blog post opportunities I got are over and above people who said, look, I haven't got the time now, but I'll send you a tweet out or I'll pop you on my Facebook page. So there was really good. And you know, the interesting thing is I'm still in contact with so many of them. And when I look at my links into my site, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of links into my site from mum and kid blogs and parent and child blogs. So it really works. It is the most valuable thing I've done in building this site, without a doubt.
That's really cool. So you built this site. Did you do a pre-launch process? Like you sort of had a coming soon page and you started building a list? Is that how you sort of launched the website part of this?
I most certainly did, and I used a fantastic tool called Lead Pages. It allows you to put up a coming soon page, which I think, you know, you go along to a site that is half built, not there. This site is under construction. I don't feel valued when I see a site like that. If I go to a site and it says under construction, I leave.
Yeah.
That's it. Goodbye. Thank you. I go to a site and it says, hey, we got something really exciting coming. Give me your name and your email address. You're getting on my VIP list. I'm going to tell you when it's launching. And not only that, I'm going to give you something now. So I gave 3 tricks away, 3 of my favorite tricks that I use in my professional work to those who shared their email address and their name. And that was really successful. I was able to measure that as well. But Lead Page is a great, great tool. I was able to measure that. And I had a base so that the day that I went live, and we went live with 5 magic tricks, I was able to say, hey, guys, we're open. Come on in. Come and have a look around. Welcome. You guys are the first. So that was really, really very useful again. And that, again, came from the mastermind group and yourself putting in and of course, the feedback from the others as well.
How many people did you have on the list on day one?
I think it was around about 200 that I had on day one.
I mean, that's
which
a great...
I was fine. Yeah.
Typically when people start blogs, they're writing for nobody. You know, even for the first month or two, you don't have 200 people coming to your site yet. And a lot of times you're writing your absolute best content because you're the most excited at that point, but it's such a drainer when you see that you're getting 5 hits a day. And that's probably because you told your mom about the site, or you know your friends and family. I mean, or maybe it's counting your own visits to the site. But same thing for Food Trucker. On day one, we had a great list of people who just came to the site. Immediately, I had an audience. The tricky thing with the Food Truck site is if I have my target audience, food truck owners, share, on their Twitter accounts or Facebook pages, they're not sharing to my target audience. That's the sort of big challenge that I have. So, I'm still trying to explore and test things and figure that out as far as, how to best leverage my relationship that I have with my target audience, even though the easiest thing to do is share something. And I think that's why also magic is really cool, because magic is something that, you see something instantly and it's just amazing and you want to share it and you want to be the person that shares it with somebody else and shows it. So there's a lot of viral opportunities here. So that's really cool that you had an audience on day one of your launch. And I think that's really awesome. What are you feeling right now has become the most successful part of your website? I mean, how is your website doing, by the way?
It's doing absolutely outstanding, beyond my wildest dreams. We hit page 1 of Google back in January, and the stats just skyrocketed. And I've just now hit page 2 of Google, but it's a really high-ranking word on the 6th of February. And again, the stats have absolutely skyrocketed. Awesome. So it's doing really well. Just going slightly back, to small step back to having an audience when you start, for me, it was really helpful because I was creating content for someone. I had accountability. I had an audience out there. So I wasn't going, well, it's going out there into a big black hole. I knew there were people out there depending on that information. When I look at the stats and I look at the people that come to the to the site, it's all very good, and I can share it with you because I've got the exact stats here. It's
Please, yeah.
In the last 30 days, 6,540 visits. Of that, 17,428 page views. I'm getting a lot of views, so they're coming to the site and they're staying for quite a while.
3 page views per, yeah.
Yeah, and it's and my average visit is 4 minutes and 4 minutes 23 seconds, which is fantastic for my site. When I look at my children's entertainment site, they're there for a very short period of time. They jump in, they get what they want, and they leave. But the Magic site, people are there, they're looking around, they're spending some time there, they're engaging with the content, which I'm very grateful for. But the big payoff for me is not the traffic, it's not all those stats. That's all great, and it's a great way to measure. But I get emails. I get emails from dads saying, hey, here's some pictures of my boy
awesome.
Doing magic at the school concert. I got a kid, Jake Ace is his stage name. He was just
Jake
dying
Ace.
for the heat. Yeah,
so
what
cool.
a it's just a classic. And Jake is me when I was 10. There he is. I found him. And Jake, from this site, has now, it's just taken his magic to the next level. He's gone and joined his local magic club. He's now working in a magic shop over weekends. And we have a magician in the UK called Paul Daniels, very famous, and he did years of television work. And he met Paul Daniels 2 weeks ago. Hey, and on magictricksforkids.org, I've got a page up for him. And that's something we're looking at doing now, is building pages for the people that kind of engage, and maybe letting them write blog articles every now and again of how they're finding it, so almost from the actual people who are engaging, from the people that are finding it useful.
That is wonderful. Just sort of like how you're on my show now and sharing how I've been useful for you. It's just like that. And I think it'd be awesome if you had pictures, even videos of Jake was it Jake the
He's
Ace?
On there. He's on there.
Oh,
He's
that's
got
so
a page.
awesome.
I've put his page up. He's on there. He's got a little video
We'll have to
of a
link to
trick
that.
he learnt on our site, and he's performing it there.
Oh, that's so cool. I mean, yeah, absolutely. That is. I mean, I got a little teary-eyed when you started saying that, because I get emails. About similar, in similar fashion, and it's just that's why I do what I do. And I feel like, I want more of that. I want more handwritten letters when I go to the post office and pick that up, because I know that then I am doing what I need to do, or I'm doing things the right way. And I know that I won't even have to look at my analytics, even though that's important because you want to understand what's going on. The more letters I get, the more thanks I get, the more I know my traffic is going up and people are spending more time on my site. So that is so awesome, Ken. That is so cool. And I just actually, I'm on your site right now, and I clicked on over to your YouTube channel.
Oh,
and you have, let's see, how many videos do you have up now? You have quite a bit of number of videos, and some I'm seeing are, gosh, there's thousands of views on these.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You just passed. I see 1,001 subscribers. I don't know if you knew that you just passed 1,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Woohoo! When I did my research for our chat today, I was on 972. So I'm glad it's sprung up.
Yeah, awesome. I'm so glad that I was able to share that with you here, because that's a huge milestone. How has YouTube been as far as helping you drive traffic and becoming a part of your brand?
Stepping right back to those early days before launch, and the mastermind group and the meetings we had and that we shared. Magic is a visual art. I just want to share with you, I do have a mind-reading magic trick that I can share with your audience right here on your show. I can read everybody's mind, by the way, Pat.
What?
But we'll get to that in a moment. Magic is generally a visual art, because there's nothing I would like more than to show you a magic trick now with a pack of cards, but it's going to mean nothing to anybody. But YouTube is a visual medium. It is fantastic because people engage in YouTube and they watch. And again, it's coming back to a lot of the stuff on YouTube I found was kind of poor quality. It was just about, here's a trick, here's how it's done. So keying into YouTube with a good quality, well-produced video showing good magic and how to perform it was the seed of the idea. Started the YouTube channel, and like you say, I mean, the views now, it's been 143,625 views since we started that, and it's not a long time, and people are subscribing. And what's really important, I'm looking at the comments on the videos. The comments on the videos are quality. It's the right people that those videos are getting to, and it's gaining its own momentum. It's huge. Hey, and it generates a little bit of money as well, which I'm glad of. But YouTube is my main platform. Interestingly enough, although I have links through to the site from all the YouTube videos, a lot of my audience choose to just engage with my content on YouTube, and I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I mean, wherever they're at, that's where you need to be.
Yeah,
So that's awesome. I mean, so YouTube is doing good, and that's your primary platform. I think it's important to, obviously it's clear and plain, simple. I mean, you do magic, it's visual. You should be on YouTube. For all of you listening, what is your primary platform? And you want to really make sure that you hone in on that, and also see where your audience is and be there. And engage with them and talk to them. And one other thing I want to point out before we keep talking about this is, I love the videos. They all have really clear, fun looking thumbnails. I could go to Trick 13 and I see, it says Magic Bowling Pin Illusion, and there's pictures of bowling pins, and I can click on that, and that one in particular has 1,500 views. But then each of the videos, they feature not just you, and you're wearing, your hat and you're performing, but your daughter also. Like, how cool is that you get to do this with Kristen?
It is just, and that was another one of the criteria for this. I don't want this to be work, Pat. This for me is something to share with the family. When you're looking at those videos and you look at those thumbnails, the graphics you see on the thumbnails, that's Colette, my wife. She puts those together for me.
Oh, that's awesome.
She also does the instructions. If you go to the magictricksforkids.org website, every trick has got a downloadable PDF, and it's really beautifully made. Colette spends a lot of time. She's a photographer. That's what the path she chose in life. So everything is photographed. So the instructions are really clear, concise, and easy to follow. So that's her input. Kristen, only during school holidays, because you'll find some of the videos, it's just me on my own. But during school holidays, Kristen is in, and she does the magic with me. Kristen is now 10. But when she was 6 years old, she entered a local talent show. There were hundreds and hundreds of entrants, and she won it doing a magic show. Magic is cool, and it's cool for girls as well. And kids absolutely love it. They love magic.
Oh, man. I did a couple magic tricks for Keone, and his face lit up, and he was like, "How did you do that? Like, how did?" Like, he was going nuts, and it was so cool to be, and I remember my dad doing a few magic tricks for me too, and I keep those memories with me forever. As far as producing these videos, but before we get into monetization, really quick,
sure.
But are you producing these at home, or do you go to a studio, or how are you creating these videos, which is obviously the primary method of producing content for your audience?
Okay. Well, I think the first part of that is the formula that we're using is that of batch processing. So we set up and we shoot 8 to 12 videos in a day. We're shooting it with 2 cameras. We're shooting it with a photographic roll-up backdrop and a whole pile of lights so that we get some good lighting on there. And we live in the UK, Pat, and in the UK, the houses are terribly, terribly small. I remember South Africa, we had massive houses because there's an abundance of land. It's at a premium in the UK, so the houses are tiny, tiny. And as much as I would love to have it all set up in here, there just isn't space. So we go out to our local church round the corner. They very kindly allow us to use a room, and we take a day and we shoot all day. So from early morning, and we don't leave until it's all done. So we shoot it all in one go, and we have a great time. We take sandwiches and we take music to play in the background while we to keep us enthused. And we just rock and roll. We have a lovely time. We have a great day out. And we come home and we got some content for the audience. It couldn't be better.
That's cool. Yeah, it doesn't sound like work at all. It just sounds like a good time with the family.
Oh, yeah.
That's fantastic. And let's talk about monetization. You said you're making a little bit of money from your YouTube videos. Is that through your AdSense account on those videos?
It is. It's the adverts that jump up on YouTube. $121 in income from that. So it's not a massive amount, but that's not what's important to me right now. And then further monetization on the site itself from going about this. And when I started this story with you, Pat, I said, this shook my world in ways I could not have imagined. Mm-hmm. From all the research, from reaching out, from doing the 200 list, and from building this site, I met a magician in Australia. His name is Julian Mather. He also has a YouTube channel, also teaching magic. He's got a video out there that has had over 1 million views. I got to take note of this man.
Yeah.
So I wrote him an email and I said, hey, I'm doing this similar kind of thing. Can we have a chat? Can we get together? And we formed kind of a little mastermind group, and we touch base once a week. He has a product teaching magic, and I have an affiliate link in on that. And that's doing really well as well. So that's bringing in some money. Yeah.
That's awesome. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot more opportunities down the road.
We already have them in the pipeline. We are starting a business called magicianbusiness.com, which will show entertainers and magicians how to optimize their sites to get the most out of it. So it's about squeezing every last drop out. All the stuff I wish I'd known when I landed in the UK. If I'd have known it, I wouldn't have had to have gone and knocked on those doors in Warrington. So I want to share that. We want to share that.
That's fantastic. Ken, just that is... this is awesome, because obviously we were working on this stuff when you didn't have a site at all, and now here you are, and you're doing these other things, and you're, I think the biggest lesson here is that you are really embracing this opportunities and the opportunities that are ahead of you, and actually taking action and doing. A lot of us, we want things to happen, but we don't take the action necessary to give those opportunities a chance to happen. And here you are, you're grasping these opportunities, you're taking them, and you're making them happen. You're actually going and reaching out to a local church, and you're filming there, and you're just making it, having a blast. You're reaching out to people that you should pay attention to. Just, kudos to you, Ken. And I can't wait to, have you back on the show like next year, just to see, what's happened, 12 months later from now.
Thank you so much.
Any quick pieces of advice? I want to get to this magic trick, because I don't know. I don't know what Ken's about to do. He told me he wanted to do something for the audience, like a magic trick of some kind, and so I honestly don't know what's going to happen. But sure. One tip for everybody out there who's working on a blog and trying to build an audience. What is one tip that you have now? You've been doing it. What would you say to somebody?
The secret for me remains those two words. It is focus, consistency. Get your goal in mind. Focus on it. It's so easy to be sidetracked when there's a new product launch, or a new bit of software, or a new social media platform to go and play on. Focus. Get your goal. What is it where are you going? Where are you going? Focus, consistency. Every single day, take a step in that direction. Focus and consistency. That's
Love it. Love it. Okay, now let's get to this. We need like a drum roll, or I don't know how's this going to work.
You've got to have a drum roll. We've got to have a... I don't know if you can hear that. That's my very weak version of a drum roll in the background there. You're so much better. You can do the beatbox thing. Right. Well, I'm going to share this with you, and in the true spirit of magictricksforkids.org, I will pop up the script if any of the audience, if you guys want to use this, go ahead. It is amazing. It really is. So a little bit of over the airwaves mind reading. Here we go. So we're going to start with something that everybody can relate to. We're going to pick a number, but it's just mentally. Don't say what the number is. Pick a number between, let's make it between 1 and 10. Nice and easy. Pick a number between 1 and 10. Do you have one?
I do.
Brilliant. Now we're going to do a little bit of multiplication here. So I know I need a calculator when I do this. So if you need a calculator, grab one. But it's a nice simple sum. We're going to multiply the number you're thinking of by 9. So hopefully we should have a bit of an insight into our 9 times table. So whatever number you have, you're going to multiply that by 9. So if I was thinking of 2, it would be 2 times 9 is 18. It would give me that total. So you should have a total in your mind.
Some people out there are like, my number was 2. How did you know?
Yeah, that's it. That's the truth.
But then there's other people who are like, this didn't work on me.
Hold on, I picked 2 because I think very few people will pick 2. So you've probably got a double-digit number in your mind at the moment. Now, what we're going to do is add the 2 digits together. So if you were thinking, if the number in your head is 34, you're going to say 3 plus 4 is 4, 5, 6, 7. So you're going to add the 2 digits together for me.
Yeah.
Have you done that?
I've done that.
Brilliant. From the number you have, just so that there is no way I can know what you're thinking of, let us subtract, let's call it 5. Let's subtract 5 from that, and it'll leave you with a new total.
Okay.
You have a total. Brilliant. Everyone has a total in their mind. Now we're going to make this interesting. This is not about telling you what number you're thinking of. That could be mathematical. Let's take it out of mathematical and make it truly awesome. What we're going to do is we're going to allocate a letter of the alphabet to the number we're thinking of. So if we were thinking of 2, it would be a B, because B is 2. And if it was 3, it would be a B, C. So you're going to get to the letter of the alphabet that corresponds with your number. Tell me when you have it.
All right, I have it.
Brilliant. Let's go international. Let's think of a country that starts with the letter that you have in your mind at the moment, Pat. Tell me when you have a country that starts with a letter that is in your mind.
Okay.
You got one. Brilliant. There's no way I can know where you are in the world right now. We're going to take the second letter of the country you are thinking of. Take the second letter of the country you are thinking of. Do you have that?
Mm-hmm.
And now think of an animal that starts with that letter. Do you have an animal in your mind?
I do.
Brilliant. Okay, how about you think about the color of the animal that you're thinking of?
Okay.
You got a color?
Got it.
You got a color in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
We've come a long way. We started with you thinking of a number. There's no way you then picked a country. There's no way I can know what color you're thinking of at the moment. But I'm reaching out. I'm reaching out over the airwaves. I'm looking into people's cars. I'm looking into people's homes.
That's kind
of
scary.
Into people's iPods. And I'm feeling the vibes coming through here. And I'm going to leave you with one word. And that word is, you're thinking of the color gray.
Nice. Nice. I love it. You got me. I had gray.
Well, it's there. To be honest with you, that trick, it's a really, really good trick. It has about a 98% hit rate. You will not have a 100% hit rate on it. But in the instructions that I kind of outline, it'll show you where it can go slightly off, but it works 98% of the time. So if you're working for a larger audience or you've got a group of people in front of you, it's an awesome trick. People will think that you are amazing, that you can read their mind. And it's step by step. It's mathematical. It's self-working. It basically ends up, you can go onto the site there and you can download it. It's there for free.
Yeah, let's check it. We'll check it out for sure. I'll put a link on the show notes. The show notes for this are going to be at smartpassiveincome.com/session101. So session 101. And, when you said, first of all, the way you performed that was great. Obviously, even though we're just on the airwaves, Ken, I remember some of the coaching that you did for me, talking about how it's not just about the trick, but how you performed it. And so I was sort of following along with you and how you performed that and sort of the nuances of what you said and how you said it. And I think that's really important. And even as far as a lesson for everybody here while we finish up is, it's hard to it's hard to come up with totally brand new ideas. It's hard to, come up with something completely brand new for your audience. Even though you should try and seek those opportunities, a lot of times what really makes and has an effect on people is the way you present those things. the way that you present these ideas and how you go about doing that. That is what can have people remember you and have it, and how you can have an impact on those people. So I really appreciate all the coaching, and I can't wait for people to use this and so we can hear how people react. And I remember you teaching me a trick that had a sort of very, very high percentage success rate, not 100%. And I was a little worried because I actually had seen that trick done before, but you said, no, do it to your audience. You're going to get an amazing response. And I'll show you, Ken, I'll show you the full video early. People were screaming like, oh my gosh, like they thought I was like, just, I mean, you got to see it. The reaction from the crowd was just amazing. Like people screaming, like, oh my, what? Like it was great. It was so fantastic.
Oh, so looking forward to it. I really, really am.
Sorry, I'm getting giddy now talking about magic. I think we're going after we hang up, I'm going to pull out my deck of cards and try some stuff. Ken, thank you so much for being on the show. Again, check out magictricksforkids.org, and you'll get all the links, of course, at the show notes as well. smartpassiveincome.com/session101. Thank you again so much, Ken, for everything.
It is my great pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Take care. Awesome. I hope you enjoyed that interview with Ken Kelly from magictricksforkids.org. It's just so cool to see somebody that you've been teaching directly one-on-one. And I wish I could teach everybody one-to-one or mentor people in this sort of really intimate group setting, because it's very pleasurable. It's very fulfilling for me, especially when the students like Ken takes action. And I wish I could do it for everybody. It's really hard with time. I mean, I am devoting and giving a lot of my time for free to this group. However, I feel like that this podcast, my blog, AskPat.com, the YouTube videos I create, I'm doing as much as I can to help as many people as possible. And I hope you see I'm doing that. And I know you, and I know many of you do. So if you really enjoy the show and you find value from it, I would hope that you would go to iTunes and leave a quick review for me, an honest review and rating. It really helps the show. I swear, when I see 2 or 3 reviews come in all at once, it really bumps up the show in the rankings. They, as far as the algorithm in iTunes is concerned, rankings and ratings go a very long way. So I appreciate any help and any support you can give on that front. And of course, I'd like to have you support also my sponsor, who I am so happy to put my name next to. That is audiobooks.com. If you go to audiobooks.com/SPI, you get audiobooks.com for free for 30 days. You also get a free credit to download and listen to any book that you like in their system. They have all the popular books there, fiction, nonfiction. And you also get, and this is only exclusive on audiobooks.com, you can get and download for free my book, Let Go, which was an Amazon bestseller. And, all that at audiobooks.com/SPI. Thanks again to the guys over there for letting me do that cool deal for you guys listening. And just thank you so much for listening to the show and spending time with me today. Thank you, Ken, for coming on and providing value. And I'll see you in the next episode. So much cool stuff happening. I'll see you then. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Smart Passive Income Podcast at www.smartpassiveincome.com.
Hey there, quick pause here because I have to tell you about a tool that completely transforms the podcasting workflow, Riverside. I get it. I used to juggle multiple platforms just to record one podcast episode. It was exhausting. Zoom for recording, Audacity for editing, and then a bunch of different apps just to create clips and social posts. I've tried other ones as well. They were okay, but they were clunky and super time-consuming. That's where Riverside has massively helped. I can do it all in one place: recording, editing, repurposing, one platform, one streamlined flow. I just log in, record with my guests no matter where they are in the world, and just like that, studio-quality audio and high-resolution video all in one. And get this, even if your Wi-Fi glitches, Riverside records locally on your device so everything sounds and looks crystal clear. But here's my favorite feature, Riverside's AI editing tool. You can remove silences and filler words with just one click. Hours saved. With Magic Clips, Riverside also automatically finds the best moments and turns them into ready-to-post videos for YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram, all without the extra editing. So if you're looking to level up your production quality and simplify your workflow, go to smartpassiveincome.com/Riverside and use code SMART to get 1 month free on the Pro plan. That's smartpassiveincome.com/Riverside, promo code SMART. It's built by creators for creators, and I think you're going to love it. Look, I get it. You want to grow your business, but trying to sell to hundreds or even thousands of people gets very exhausting very fast. But what if you could sell at scale with a simple, powerful quiz? ScoreApp helps you sell to more people without adding more to your plate. You build a quiz or assessment that your audience actually wants to take. Then they answer a few quick questions and get a personalized result right away. It shows them where they're at and what they need to do next and how you can help. And you build huge amounts of trust before you make even a single offer. No hard sell, no chasing leads, just value at scale. Get 50% off the first 3 months using the discount code SPI. All you have to do is just head to scoreapp.com/SPI. Again, that's scoreapp.com/SPI.